welcome in the open forum. So our next resource speaker is the owner of Grajo's Bee Farm and a landscape specialist in Australia. Please welcome Mr. Leo E. Grajo. Yes, sir. Good day.
Good day. Good day. This is Leo Grau from Off the Colony by Grau's Farm. I'm here to talk about our meliponiculture journey and the vertical hive design that we are using at the farm. I initiated the establishment of meliponiculture at our farm, but before anything else, I would like to share some information about our farm. So Grau's Farm is located at Barangay Tigbao, Kasiguran, Sorsogon. It is a 3-hectare family-owned farm and an ATI accredited learning site for agriculture, and a DTI accredited farm enterprise that produces small-scale seasonal food and agri products and specializes in stingless bee production. Since its establishment in 1997, the farm has diversified by growing various fruits and trees, as well as livestock production and native pigs and chicken. We are also currently venturing in passion fruit production, whilst developing new product line. We are also rebranding our farm as The Colony by Grau's Farm through the help of DTI. Our vision is to produce an assortment of agricultural and stingless bee products, practicing farming technologies and methods to help promote sustainability and care of the environment while providing local employment and knowledge sharing and promoting agritourism in Region 5. Our vision is to be a leading diversified family-owned farm in Bicol that provides high quality of agricultural and stingless bee products while utilizing modern technology for farming and learning. Our core values are innovation, environmentalism, integrity, passion, and sustainability. This will be our timeline. So I worked in our farm for several years before I became an overseas Filipino worker. Back then, I'm already a bee enthusiast. I own less than 10 colonies of Abserana. In 2010, my passion was reignited again to engage in beekeeping. And me and my dad visited UPLB, and we were met by Dr. Cleophas Servancia and advised us to try first the stingless beekeeping. She also encouraged us to visit Balay Buhay in Bulusan, Sorsogon, and Mr. Palcunitin of Ginubatan Albay. I remember Ma'am Floresca gave us a brief tour in their property. A year after that, my dad participated in the intensive beekeeping training at UPLB. So this is our Meliponari in 2010. Beside from coconut technology, we also experimented several hive designs. And we also tried Apicerana, but due to its absconding behavior, we set it aside and concentrate more on stingless beekeeping. So together with the Agrarian Reform and Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, Sorsogon, we conducted a native beekeeping seminar for agriculture for Bulusan and Kasiguran beneficiaries. Benchmarking tour for agritourism through the effort of DTI Sorsogon in 2012. We visited several farms and agrotourism sites in Albay and Camarines Sur. And I remember RAC and Sibisoa is one of these sites. So 2 months later, training on beekeeping was provided by the current Regional Apiculture Center Director, Professor Lilia Pasiona, and demonstration on beekeeping management was conducted in our farm. This is our start with Regional Apiculture Center and CBCUA for promoting stingless beekeeping. Vertical technology was adopted in 2013 through the collaboration with Dr. Giorgio Venturiri. Dr. Giorgio Venturiri is a senior research scientist of Embrapa, Brazil, and he is the owner of Nativo here in eastern part of Australia. This design is published by Embrapa. Embrapa is Empresa Brasilia de Pesquisa Agropecuria, or the Brazilian Agricultural Research Corporation. This is a state-owned research corporation affiliated with the Brazilian Ministry of Agriculture. Till now, I feel lucky and thankful for his contribution to science. He is a great influence in our stingless beekeeping and my mentor. Later, I will discuss this design. So it was envisioned during the tour in 2012 with DTI that our farm will be a farm tourism someday. In 2014, we started building training center, cabana, Melipona houses, and water feature and camping areas in the farm. We would like to thank Dr. Maria Dulce Mostoles and CIRCA for being part of this project. It is the community-based approach to sustainable stingless beekeeping in Sorsogon. This project mainly aims to help communities in Sorsogon province to adopt beekeeping as a livelihood using sustainable management and development approach for conservation of a species. So April 2015, my sister participated in the intensive beekeeping training at a UPLB program. Also in 2017, Mr. Abu Hassan Halil, sir, someday we'll meet in person, hopefully. Our first speaker from Malaysia dropped a visit in our farm during his tour in the Philippines. We were also featured in his 3 books regarding meliponiculture. He is also joined by Dr. Maria Dulce Mostoles and Professor Lilia Pasiona and the members of Camarines Beekeepers Association. In 2017 also, a 2-day training on stingless bee management was held for the cooperative members of the Norwegian Alliance Philippines from Marinduque. And we supplied them with 100 colonies for the cooperative. In 2017 also, we accepted on-job training of entomology students from Central Bicol State University of Agriculture. We would like to thank CBSUA for the opportunity given to us as a practicum site, and we are looking forward for more in these coming years. So, Sir Edwin Quintiliano and Diosdado Corpus and Sir Janos Dex Laquijón, they undergone stingless bee training using this vertical technology. They came from Sulcatan Kudarat and Bansalan Davao del Sur. And we supplied them with hive box colonies with proper documentation issued by the Bureau of Animal Industry and the Provincial Veterinary Office. This is just to remind everybody that shipping of feral colony is strictly prohibited according to the Bureau of Animal Industry, especially in inter-islands. So thanks to ATI Region 5 in 2020, we were granted accreditation as a learning site for agriculture, thanks to Director Elsa A. Parrot. With ATI, we envision our farm to be a one-stop shop, training and learning center for agri and stingless bee production and processing in the region. Our center will offer alternative livelihood opportunities and capability building to farmers, household agriculture entrepreneurs, which all contribute to the sustainable and productive agricultural sector. This project generally aims to objectives to build a food processing center with a BFAD approved standards and develop marketable products from seasonal fruits and distinguished bee products and distinguished bee production. So after the awarding, with our commitment with ATI in sharing technology, a training for distinguished beekeeping was conducted, and participants were bee hunters, farmers, hobbyists, enthusiasts, and members of the Kasiguran Beekeepers and Pineapple Association. My sister and my dad conducts all the training in the farm. So this training on fruit wine making was conducted with Sir Kael at Lukban, Quezon with my parents and my sister Lisel Grajo. So our farm is an emerging example of melitourism. It is the integration of stingless bee or meliponiculture in tourism. Our visitors can enjoy, relax, and dine in our cafe. In addition to that, they can also do melitourism activities, which includes taking a selfie on bee-inspired photo booths. We have a stainless bee walk. This is a self-guided tour about stainless beekeeping. Shop with bee and farm products. Honey tasting and honey harvesting, camping, and seminar on stainless beekeeping. We want to sincerely thank all the supports during our opening of the Colony Cafe last April 2021. So these are our stainless bee products and our farm products. So amidst the pandemic, our farm continued its production of stainless bee and farm products. Late 2020, we started developing passion fruit product lines such as passion fruit cordial, vinegar, jams, curd, and fruit wines such as cacao, pineapple, and passion fruit soon will be released. So this is our plan in the near future. So our farm will continue on the promotion of stainless bee, more trainings, and participate in seminars. We'll be planning to engage also in a community-based project or stewardship program. So hopefully we can complete our or can we have we can have completion of our processing center and to have a fully mechanized woodworking facility. This will facilitate the construction of our hive boxes. Agri and stainless bee product development. We're currently working on the commercialization based on Dr. Bentore's recommendation, and more R&D and engage in value-adding products. So collaboration with academic institution. Our farm is open for collaboration for any institution or any on-job training for any institution. We plan also to collaborate with Dr. Amy Nicolas of CBCUA for the identification of our stainless bee species present in our farm. So we have probably 10 different nest entrances in the farm. So we're also excited on this collaboration. So test the accreditation hopefully someday, and our aim also is to become a tourism site, accredited tourism site in Bicol region, and an educational center that will showcase general information regarding bees production and processing, and our stainless bee honey and colony production will continue. So due to the high mortality of colonies, especially in the first 2 years the establishment, I was motivated to do an in-depth research on the origins of meliponiculture. That leads me to South America. To cut just the story short, I stumbled upon the works of Dr. Giorgio Venturi and ended up chatting him on Facebook. And that time he was also here in Australia doing his sabbatical years. I generally shared his technical knowledge about his design. So meliponiculture was an ancient practice by Mayans and Aztecs found in the Codices de Madrid. So these are 14 pages of dedicated to the breeding of bees and the therapeutic properties of products such as honey and wax. So according to Dr. Giorgio Ventureri, 250 stingless bee species can be found in Brazil. So you can see here hive boxes with several adaptations according to species, but uses the same concept of vertical hive. So vertical hive design was designed by an Angolan researcher professor named Virgilio Portugal Arojo in 1955. And this model is a square section, consists of an area of the accommodation of the young, it's located on the base, and trays for accommodation in the jars. This is the original design and the source of inspiration of the Dr. Venturelli's modification can be seen here on the other side. So this is the very distinctive about this design. It has an orifice that helps the ventilation of the hive. So he called this model is called Modified Portugal Arojo by Dr. Ventureri. This model used in this method allows the colony to grow upright position, passing through the brood chamber. So these are the brood chambers, and until it reaches to the food chamber on the top. The size of the brood chamber and food chamber is based on the diameter of the brood cells, leaving a couple of centimeters on both sides. So parts of the hive box, the base is has an orifice, so that's the hole that is located in the center, that serves as a ventilation and can easily be accessed if you want to clean the liquid and debris or fecal deposits. The entrance is located on the side wall. Installed is a hollow space to simulate the input tube used by the bees to help in the defense of the colony. So the brood chamber, this is our rhombus shape of the main frame, primarily used for the nest expansion. It helps to support the brood and brood cells or food pots. Top of this chamber is the rods measuring 1 centimeter wide and 2 centimeter to each other. This functions as to prevent the honeypots or the sheets of the brood combs sticking the bottom of the lid or the food chamber. This practice allows to inspect the colony without destroying the combs. It's very efficient in the process of duplication. So food chamber. So this is the food chamber. It limits the growth of the nest. This two space on the sides allows the bees to access the reserved space for accumulation of food. So this area is intended for the storage of pots and for harvesting. So the top cover on the lid has 2 holes. The objective is to assist the airflow. So the other one is this one hole can also be used to supply syrup or do a supplemental feeding. It should be placed on the pet bottle, and you can use a syringe to put some syrup inside the food chamber. The question is, why is it square? Why is it the hive box design is square? According to Dr. Ventureri, it is more natural to the bee nature the shape of the brood is rounded. A regular solid helps the bees to regulate temperature in the middle of the brood. The incubation for the immature needs to be constant, around 20 or to 30 degrees Celsius, and the regular solid holds more volume per surface, needing, in the case of beehives, less wood to give the same volume. So this is our adaptation of modified Portugal Arojo by Dr. Bentoreri, designed for Tetragonella biroi. So that's the base, and this is the brood chamber, and this is the food chamber, and this is the top cover, and it has the orifice on top. So this is the bottom orifice without a screen, and this is the top orifice of this box. So these also are adaptations. Through the years, we had modified some. We have modified to fit the climatic conditions of Bicol region. So due to these prolonged rain and continuous typhoon, so these modifications were made. So we made a double rebate on top of the brood and top and bottom walls. I believe this was made on early 2014, but discontinued due to the tedious and time-consuming and a little bit risky on manual cutting of this recess using manual circular. So though it is very helpful in preventing water going inside the hive. So later we introduced the rebate router to cut the recess for the separator and the brood chamber. So early in 2014, the entrance was modified into a slight angled position to block the water entry during the rainy season, and it slows down the entry of the pest. Due to the scarcity of wood, we use marine plywood for the bottom and the top cover. Recently, we rabbited the orifice of this base and the top cover to hold the screen that will serve as a ventilation and a drainage system. So individual roof is installed to protect the hive from the sun and the rain. So Bicol region is blessed not only with the abundance of stingless bee, especially the Tetragonella biroi, but also making history as the birthplace of Meliponiculture in the Philippines. We would like to acknowledge Dr. Maria Dulce Mostoles and the late Professor Raul Ruiz and Mr. Rodolfo Palcunitin, who are the pioneers of this coconut technology. One of the alternative method of propagating stingless bee is the natural hive duplication. This was named by Dr. Ann Dolin, and Dr. Tim Heard call it budding, and Sir Eduction was named by or proposed by John Plump. They are all Australians. Natural hive duplication is an excellent method of producing hive without damaging and disturbing the original nest or the colony. So this is our practices on our using the natural hive duplication in our farm. After its recovery period from the wild, we installed a permanent brood chamber on the top of the provision that will serve as a feral extension and facilitate easy duplication without damaging the feral. So additional brood chamber and food chamber is installed. Once it's full, we remove the upper brood chamber or module and hedge out the food chamber and placing empty brood chamber underneath to form a new colony. So possible scenarios: it will be filled with food, or it will be covered with involucrum, something to do with thermoregulation. So what we do is we remove the food gently or the involucrum and install what we call the catalyst brood. An Australian guy named Tom Carter's named this as a catalyst brood. This helps the nest to begin to construct brood cells in the upper chamber. So advantages: not invasive to the feral. That is, it can supply you at least 5 to 7 years of strong colonies in favorable condition, at least 2 to 3 times a year duplication and splitting, but always varies on the season depending on the size of the colony. That if you use this vertical hive design. So it was observed that these feral colonies becomes a food storage, majority of pollen as the year passed by due to the continual production of colonies. So top of the brood chamber ensures that the colony has a sufficient and undisturbed food to support the establishment of new colony. So steps in dividing. So we identify first the strong colonies and for division or duplication. So the upper brood chamber or module is hedged with the food chamber and placing an empty brood chamber underneath to form a new colony. And the lower half of the brood chamber module plus the empty brood chamber, the remaining food chamber, and the lid can be placed on top to form the mother colony. So this is called the minimal disturbance method or the impact method. This is initially proposed by Portugal Araujo, and later adaptation of Noguera Neto and Ferdinand Silveira and Giorgio Venturelli were included. So advantages of this design: facilitates easy colony division, allows honey to be extraction easier, allows the extraction without disturbing the brood, simple and has the advantage to carry it out in short period of time, provides a quick recovery for the colony in the lower incidence of pests, and lastly, it avoids the use of hands during the duplication process. So majority of these vertical hives is placed on majority of these vertical hives placed on what we call stingless bee stands. It's spread along the periphery of the farm, and beside from the Melipony house, we also have two Meliponary extension sites. In total, we have less than 500 colonies and counting, because we're still in the process of duplication. And 75% of these are vertical hive boxes, and 25% are more or less 25% are mother or feral colonies, which are our source of our colonies. So challenges: so lack of technical knowledge. I have no training at all, and I rely on research and publication online for the first 2 years of the establishment. Most of these interesting research and publications are in South America, are in Portuguese or Spanish languages. So I ended up translating some of these books and or PDFs using Google Translate. And time to time, I'm still doing it. So mortality, so infestation, high density. So the conversion of coconut technology to vertical tech had made a difference. Hub modification and ensuring the brood and food chambers are flush to each other, not to create a gap or crevices that pests can lay eggs, making the colony strong to counter the pest and selective duplications. So colonies are distributed into 3 sites, as I mentioned before, to minimize the overdensity. So typhoon and prolonged rain, this is the it alters the weather condition and the flow season in our province. So offshore management of bee farms. So it's a little bit expensive managing Meliponiculture when you're out of the country. Tends your phone bills gets higher. And after 5 years, since the establishment, my sister Lisel moved into the farm and helped me on the management of Meliponiculture. So our insights, join trainings and seminars, read more publication and researches, take advantage of government lending hands through grants and support such as ATI and DTI, collaborate with academic institutions for more research, be innovative, never afraid to try new concept, engage more in value-adding products, make a failure as a motivation for greater things to come. Promoting native beekeeping is synonymous to conservation of native bees. This vertical hive design is very efficient on colony duplication, harvesting, and without damaging the brood during duplication. So a special thanks to Dr. Cleophas Sorvancia for encouraging us to engage in stingless beekeeping, to Dr. Elsa A. Parrott and the Region 5, ATI Region 5 for accrediting as a learning site for agriculture, and to Dr. Maria Dulce Mostoles and the Regional Director, Professor Lydia Pasiona and CBSOA for the support and promotion given to us. And lastly, we owe it to Dr. Giorgio Ventureri for sharing his technology and a very supportive mentor. Thank you very much, Doc. And also for the organizers of this event, thank you for giving us a platform to share our Meliponiculture journey. So that ends our presentation on our Meliponiculture journey. Thanks for listening and hope you learned something from us. Share our passion for the love of stingless bees. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo E. Grajo, for that very interesting presentation, especially the structures of your existing Meliponiculture sites and the specification of your vertical hive adaptation to the vertical hive design with Portugal, Arajo, and Dr. Giorgio Venturi. You have such wonderful visions for the colony, and I believe CBSA is very much willing to collaborate with you, sir, and extend our services as well to anyone who needs it. So, by the way, may we acknowledge the participants from Bangladesh, Cambodia, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, USA, Australia, Tuvalu. Thank you very much for sharing your valuable time with us. So, our next resource speaker is the Provincial Agriculturist of Albay, Provincial Agriculture Office, Kabangan Kamalig, Albay, Philippines. Please welcome Ms. Cheryl O. Rebeta.